Hello friends, we are in the 10th week of our course Elements of Literature and Creative Communication. Beginning with a very general introduction to the course and discussing the various nuances of literature, different forms of literature. We moved on to discussing poetry in detail. We took about a couple of weeks to discuss poetry, different manifestations of poetry, various techniques used in poetry, and poetry written across the globe, American poetry, contemporary Indian poetry, Spanish poetry, French poetry, of course all through translations, and from then we moved on to discussing fiction in detail. We took about a couple of weeks again, and the last week we devoted to discussing short fiction. So we are in the 10th week now, and this week we are going to introduce a new element of literature, or what we call the new form of literature here, drama. Okay. Please recall, right in one of our early classes, we said that literature can be broadly categorized into prose, poetry and drama, and of course in prose you have fiction, non-fiction and all that. So we discussed prose, we discussed poetry, and today we are going to discuss drama. It is a very distinct form of literature, right, because it combines various elements. Within language, it combines the elements of prose and verse. When it comes to elements of literature, it combines the elements of fiction and poetry. So in a sense, this is a hybrid form of literature, or a hybrid genre, right. How is drama distinct from other forms of literature? What is something new here? What happens when we come face to face with drama? What are the different types of drama, and in order for a dramatic production to take place, what are the various compositions, what are the various composite units that we require for a dramatic production? What are the historical origins of drama? Are there any theories of drama? And are we going to pick up any particular play and discuss it? These are something that we are going to think about in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what exactly is drama. Well, a commonsensical understanding of drama is a simple one. It's a form of literature, like poetry is, like fiction is, right? But it's designed basically for performances on stage. Well, on stage means theater. Here actors enact different roles of characters and perform actions which are present in the play, and perform the written dialogues. They utter the written dialogues. Now look at it. So look at the kind of transformation the text goes through when it is a drama. There is a text, whether it's an oral one or a written one is secondary, because now look at it. If it's a poem, there is a written text and you just enunciate it. You just need one more feature in order for poetry to come, bring it alive, just your enunciation. Whereas for a novel, you don't even need to do that. For fiction, you just have to read it silently, right? Whereas for a play, it's not just enough that you have a text in your hand or a text in your head. You need to say that, and that is not sufficient. You need to act it out, and you need to utter the words, utter the dialogues, so as not just that you can hear it for yourself, but even those that are sitting in front of you. So they are called audience. Look at how drama becomes a composite art, right? So in a short while we will discuss what a play is, what a drama is. In fact, before that, very quickly, drama has its roots in Greek language. So it means in Greek, the root word drao, it means to do or to act something out, and theater also has a Greek root, and that means to see, to watch, to observe, something like that. And now, of course, see, always remember, as students of literature, if you can go to the roots of language, most of these concepts become clear, right? So when we say theater is to see, and obviously you can understand the various dynamic associative qualities that come when you say seeing, and when you say to act, automatically your mind is capable of grasping the associative activities related to do something, to act something, like that. So that's the power of going to the roots. Now before we proceed further, let's try to understand the distinctions between a play, drama and theatre. In fact, many people may sometimes use them interchangeably, especially a play and a drama, and sometimes even a theatrical version. Well, they are not altogether wrong, but of course there are some subtle distinctions. As I said, a drama, now look what happens here. There is a text, we discussed this, and you have to add to the text a transformative quality, because the text as it is not sufficient for it to be qualified to be considered a dramatic piece, right. So it has to transform itself and also add to it a performative angle. So in other words, text plus performance plus production or transformation, this is called drama. A combination of all these things can be called drama. So transformation means, what do you mean by transformation here, or what do you mean by a text here? A text, like any other literary text, it has dialogue, it has set of characters, it has a plot, it has a setting, and especially in the context of a play, it has certain stage directions, because we have already identified that drama transcends the textual dimension. And how does it transcend? By adding performative elements to that. You have stage direction. The writer of the text of a play, who is called a playwright, knows very well that this play is going to be acted. Therefore, there are certain instructions, stage instructions that's been incorporated, so that actors who perform the roles, the characters, then it's easy for them to get under the skin and then perform it. Therefore, these are textual elements in a drama. What are the textual elements? These are the textual elements. So what are, when you say transformation, what do you mean by that? Now look at it. If it's a text, it's written by a writer, right. Now when you say a drama, of course a writer is involved, because he or she is supposed to, or they are supposed to write a play, and added to that you need a director who transforms a text by his or her own interpretation of it, right. Directors have a creative leeway so as to interpret the text the way they see it. Therefore, you need a directorial intervention, directing. Then you have a stage, because when you present a text on a particular stage, the stage has a capacity to add its own elements, right. Now imagine, in fact there are a lot of experiments where for instance, Hamlet has been staged on on the shores of a lake. It is staged in a proper theatre, and it's been televised, it's been brought onto a larger canvas, it's enacted in a classroom. So these these different settings add their own flavor and also character to the text. Therefore, these are various what do you call them, agents that affect the text. Then you have props and lighting. Props, when we say props, various tools that we require in order to enact something. So that's what is called props. And there is lighting too. In fact, lighting also becomes very important, and we are going to discuss all of them in a little more detailed manner. Yeah. Now, the third element is performance. When you say for performance, these are, well, in social senses we call them variables. Now, a drama depends on all these variables, textual variables, the transformative variables, and performance related variables. And in performance, you have actors. Supposing a particular role is enacted by two different actors, well, the meaning that they are capable of producing, either through their gestures or through their facial expressions, they can be radically different. Therefore, a play, for its production of meaning, it depends on characters, right. So, characters, it is a variable. Now, you have methods, each of them have their own methods, they have tonal variations, expressions and gestures. So, these are the various things that a play, that a particular text has to keep in mind in order for it to become drama. That is why I said, it is basically a collaborative venture. So, we can even go ahead and say that drama is a collective writing, and also it is a collective reading. Now, compare drama vis-a-vis poetry and fiction, right. Fiction is not a collective writing. A particular writer writes it, you read it, right, in a traditional sense. Even a poem too, when somebody writes poetry, the person generally writes alone and you read it alone. Whereas a drama, it is not a play. I am not talking about play. Please remember, play is a component of drama. Drama is a composite whole, So, a drama involves a collective collaboration. So, a collective writing, because you have a playwright who writes it, you have a director who writes it subtly, and you have a character, you have an actor who writes it, in the sense through his or her performance, through their performance, they add certain meanings to it, right. Therefore, all of them become, it becomes a collectivistic ventures. Therefore, you can call drama a collective writing. How is it a collective reading? Now, imagine when a drama is to be performed, it is going to be simultaneously watched by the entire audience sitting there. The audience can range from anywhere from 10 to 10,000, depending on the capacity of the theater. It can accommodate anywhere between 10 and 10,000. Now, imagine what happens. Look at the spectacle, look at the spectacle, all 10,000 of them watching the play that is being enacted on the stage and gathering together in the process of meaning making. How the very concept of semiotics, it takes on a beautiful turn in a play, because all of them so beautifully sit together and decode the meaning. So, it becomes a collective reading, as opposed to reading a poem, reading fiction, reading short fiction and all of that. Now, I guess it becomes clear. Now, because of this variations, the sensibility that a drama offers, when it is enacted, it is extraordinary, unique, and sometimes it is even called complete, because here all your sensory organs, most of them you make use of it. When you read a work of art, only your eyes. Here your eyes, the sense of lighting, and of course the sound, and when they use props, they can even create certain fragrances and all that. All these effects, therefore it can be a complete experience, complete literary experience. If you really wish to have a complete literary experience, it is better you watch a play being enacted on stage. Okay. So, these are some things that we can keep in mind. From here, let us go and see what are the different types of drama. Obviously, there are various varieties that that can be kept in mind. You have a dance drama, where a story is basically narrated to dance, right. It is called a dance drama. You have a forum theatre, which is a type of drama where audience opinion is also taken into consideration. In fact, remember in one of the literary techniques, we discussed breaking the fourth wall, right. You can recall that. Now, here in this particular type of drama, a character or an actor involves the audience by directly asking the question, and their opinion is kept in mind, and thereby it is like an improvised skit. The text is fluid here because it depends on the answer the audience gives, and you can't factor that in well in advance. You don't know what the audience says, right? Therefore, it becomes a fluid text, especially in forum theatre. You have mime. In mime, of course, there is no dialogue. The entire meaning has to depend on gestures and expressions. Now look at it, you just mute yourself out. Whereas your gesture and expressions, they are capable of exuding all the meanings, the range of meanings the text encompasses. How difficult it should be, right? And you have movement, you have musical. Of course, in musical especially, like dance drama makes use of dance. In musical drama, it employs music predominantly in order to support the narrative here, using various songs, using various ragas. This type of drama furthers the story or the narrative or anything like that. So, there are very many other methods. There is a pantomime, there is a scripted play, there is a play improvised. There are certain overlaps, of course, you can see here. Okay. So, these are some things that you can keep in mind, especially in a pantomime. It involves children, so it makes use of it's a kind again of a hybrid variety. You make use of music, you can also make use of dance, jokes, slapsticks comedy, fairy tales, nursery rhymes, all of them, So, these are some variations, that we can introduce when it comes to drama or a play. And again, depending on the content, you again can classify a drama. So, if it is a play that has a strong political overtones, right. Of course, it is not new that drama or theatrical performance especially has been a predominant mode of expressing resistance, the resistance of the collective masses, right. Theatre has also been used for education. Theatre is used for raising consciousness, various consciousness raising activities. Therefore, depending on the content, you can again divide drama. So, if it has a strong political overtone, you can call it an agitprop. If it is a play that involves comedy, whereas this comedy conceals some darker themes, it can be called black comedy. We have already discussed this, right, when it comes to Charlie Chaplin. More than looking at him as a comic actor, it's like it's a black comedy, because behind that humor you can realize the tragedy of modern life in an extraordinary way, right. So, you have comedy of manners. Basically, comedy of manners makes use of society's stereotypes, it is based on gender stereotypes, society stereotypes and all that, and it makes fun of it. Especially during the Restoration time, comedy of manners was introduced in order to break the conventions of society, in order to make the society come out of its conventional boundaries and to introduce novel elements. During the Restoration time, comedy of manners was introduced. You have a commedia dell'arte, it is an improvised theatre. It again takes a look at stock characters. Say for instance, you have a slave, say for instance, you have a black character, say for instance, you have a policeman, say for instance, you have a politician, anybody like that, and again makes use of it. You can call it a part of comedy of manners, but slightly different. And then you have docudrama. Drama which is in the style of a documentary. So, these are some various types of drama that we can keep in mind. From here, we need to understand where drama is enacted. Right now, right in the beginning we said, right, in order for a drama to exist, you need a play or a script generally, and you need a setting. In fact, there is a particular setting, in fact that is called a stage, which is generally there in theatre, right. So, depending on where the play is enacted, it is going to acquire the characteristic trait of that setting. Therefore, maybe an active understanding of different stages, an active understanding of different styles of theatres is essential for us, right. Let us go take a quick look at the different types of theatres we have. Okay. Yeah, before that, okay, I forgot. Well, here is some more varieties, right. You have farce, where it's highly comical based on exaggerated types. Historical drama, again based on the content, where the play is set in the historical context. Melodrama, satire, comedy, tragicomedy. Of course, we are going to discuss them in a little more detailed manner, maybe in subsequent classes. But for time being, you can know that comedy is a play where comical, where generally, anything that has a happy ending is called comedy, and anything that has a slightly negative ending or unhappy ending is called tragedy. That is something that most of us are aware of, right. What is a melodrama? In fact, if somebody, exaggerates anything, even we use it, right, don't be so melodramatic. If somebody is overdoing something, we say that, don't be melodramatic. So, it makes use of excessive use of emotions, excessive characteristic traits, all of them, that is called a melodrama. Based on tragedy and comedy, there is a combination of, both of them. It is called tragicomedy. It has both comical moments as well as an element of tragedy. Of course, life is a tragicomedy, right. You can't say anybody's life is one big saga of comedy or one big saga of tragedy. Life is tragicomedy. So, probably it may represent the broad contours of life in a better way, tragicomedy. So, these are some things, of course, we can keep in mind. Now, of course, we said theatre, yeah. Now, here is different types of stages. When we say theatre, it makes use of various props, stages and all that. So, we need to know, as I said, a play can be enacted on different stages, and the moment there is a change in the stage, there is also a change in the shade of the meaning the play acquires. So, these are various variables, these are different variables. Now, look at this, these are some conventional theatres or stages that are involved in various theatres. Okay. Basically, a stage is a setup where, the actors enact the play and the audience sit and watch. That is a stage. Okay. So, it involves, when you say a stage, you have where audience can be seated and watch it, and a place where actors come out and perform it, and where lighting and everything is there. This is in general staging. The first is amphitheatre. It is also called arena. Generally, it is a very large performance space. In fact, our stadiums, the contemporary sports stadiums that you and I might have watched, either a cricket match or a football match, it is based on amphitheatre structure. In fact, imagine, in fact, in India, which is the largest stadium? Is it the Kolkata stadium? How many does it accommodate? Just think of it. Now, the entire play is being watched by people sitting there, and it's seated so beautifully that everybody can watch it, something like that. So, it is arena. Usually in the ancient Greece, huge amphitheatres were made use of. Now, you will be surprised that even as back as 5th century, there were stages designed so beautifully, architectural marvels, such that people, more than 20,000, 30,000 people could sit together and watch a play. Even earlier then, look how beautifully it must have been designed. Okay. Then you have traverse. Here the acting area is down the middle of the space, the acting area is there. Okay. The audience sits facing the acting arena from the two sides, that is well presented there. Something like audience are slightly on an elevated level and acting area a little down. Now, imagine what kind of experience it has vis-a-vis watching a play, looking, by raising your head and or by lowering your gaze. What kind of experience? Do you think there is something changes, right? Then you have an in the round stage, in the sense here, like stage is in the middle and it's surrounded on all four sides by the seating arrangement for the audience. Of course, it has multiple entrances, you can see that. Please look at the schematic of that. Audience is placed on all 4 sides, stage is in the middle. And now look at this, when the audience is watching, they are not just watching the characters or the actors here, they can also watch the responses of the audience that are sitting opposite them. It happens for all of them. Now, this is a beautiful design of stage, because here you get to watch not just the play that is being enacted, but also the play that is getting enacted on the faces of the audience, and all of them have access to that. All of them have access to that. A beautiful experience. In fact, I would really recommend you to watch it, because you get to watch 2 plays. At the cost of one, you get to watch 2 plays, one that is being performed on the stage, the other that is being performed on the faces of the various audience. That is an extraordinary experience. Okay. Now, we have we discussed arena. I have a thrust stage. Of course, there is a minor difference between arena stage and thrust stage. In arena, audience covers the entire stage area, whereas in a thrust stage, audience sits on the 3 sides. Audience sits on the 3 sides. Now look at this. There is a stage in which acting takes out, and on the 3 sides of it there is an open space. One side is open, and on the 3 sides audience sits and watches it. That is a thrust. Okay. So then you have promenade. In fact, promenade is very, very interesting, right? In all these stages, there is a demarcating line between the actors and the audience. There is some kind of a demarcating line, right? Whereas in promenade, there is nothing like that. In fact, you do not even know who is an actor and who is audience, because the moment the lights are out and maybe a visual is heard or some cue word is uttered, all of a sudden there are people in a room, and the moment lights go out or some cue word is given, a couple of them just get up somewhere in the middle and start acting out. You do not know, I mean, some character starts speaking from there, you think the action is going to happen there, then suddenly somebody starts speaking from here, you turn here, you are surrounded by characters you do not know, I mean randomly, it is randomly. There is no space that I mean, this is especially very essential, because now those plays or those dramatic productions that involve promenade believe that drama, in order for drama to take place, you do not need to have a demarcating line between the actors or the stage and where the audience sit. So therefore, you are surrounded by action all around, and that too from unexpected corners, from unexpected characters, something like this. And sometimes again it can as well be very improvised. A character, an actor might as well ask you to act, comment, something like that. A very beautiful, innovative stagecraft. Then you have a proscenium arch, something that we see generally in a movie theater. There is the stage is at one end, and just the opposite of the stage, demarcated by a space which is called an apron, you have the audience sitting there. Like you watch, most of us when we watch a movie in a regular theater, so it makes use of a proscenium arch. So these are various stagecraft that is involved. Now, as I said, when a playwright writes a play, he or she they keep in mind the stage in which it is generally performed, because an active understanding of the stage in which it may be performed is going to shape their writing, right. So therefore, not all the stages are for all types of plays. So you have to be careful in your choices and proceed. You also, if you are a director, you need to know what kind of stage can be made use of for a particular play, or if you are a playwright, you need to know if you are writing in this particular way, it should be enacted on a particular stage. So these an active awareness of these things will definitely help enhance the experience of drama. All right. I am sure this class has given you a kind of a background information. It has prepped you, in other words, to watch the play in a little better way. The next class we come up and discuss something more interesting related to drama. All right. Thank you.